Now, this is an area of alcohol use disorder that we very rarely talk about, and it's about self harm. And if you think about it, when you have someone who is drinking for years or decades, I mean, they're essentially killing themselves, either consciously or unconsciously. They are ingesting poison into their body. Alcohol is a class 1 carcinogen, okay, and it will slowly kill you. I mean, it will break down your organs. We're made up of organic material, and there's nobody who's going to escape from that. It's going to affect your body physically, your liver, obviously, heart, kidneys, pancreas, intestinal tract, esophagus, eyes, skin, and eventually your brain. It will give you what's called a form of alcoholic dementia, better known as Wernicke-Korsakoff or wet brain. No one's going to escape this. Okay, you inject this poison into your body, this is what's going to happen, and it is a slow case of suicide. If this is the first time seeing me, again, my wife passed away from alcohol use disorder a little over 5 years ago, and we were married for 25 years. But let's read this for a second, because I know a lot of people who follow me don't really understand this part. Now let me read this to you because it's very poignant to the overall story. And this comes from, I never got the impression that she, Amanda, tried to kill herself from your stories. Sorry, I'm just very surprised to hear that. And I think a lot of people are, because you don't think of it as suicide. But also, if you follow the story, my wife fell down a flight of stairs in her 7th rehabilitation facility, which they ultimately took her to UCLA, which was about a mile away, and she was in ICU for 28 days. There was always a question whether or not she fell down the flight of stairs or if she purposely fell down the flight of stairs, and I never really got confirmation from the director of the facility. I talked to a number of lawyers after my wife passed away. Nobody would really take the case because my wife, well, a number of things. I don't think the facility had a whole lot of money to sue for anyways, but my wife was also very fragile, and it was an extremely complicated case. I think it would have been very difficult to have proved negligence. But there's a piece of me, because she had fallen down the stairs at our house a couple times the week before I took her to the rehab, and I took her to the rehab was one of the main reasons, because she'd put her head through the drywall at the bottom of the stairs at our house. And I realized this is something that she shouldn't be walking around our house alone. So I took her to the rehab, and the exact same thing happened there. There is a piece of me that thinks there is a possibility, and certainly that door is open, that she may have had enough and went to the top of the stairs and decided to fall over. We will never know, but to speculate that isn't far-reaching. And one of the biggest reasons why I talk about this, and it's not to bring drama to the story, but so many families are stuck in this same situation, which is ultimately an impossible situation. When you have someone in your life, an alcoholic in your life, and they have reached the point where they don't have any quality of life, essentially, and you don't see them getting better. It's not like they're going to go to rehab and miraculously make a 180. There are people who are past the point of return, and in reality, the most people who are late stage 3, stage 4 alcoholics, the vast majority of them are not going to make it, and they are going to succumb to the disease. And there isn't anybody there to tell them that. I mean, there's always hope. Don't get me wrong. I know people who have been in late stage 4 and their entire life has been consumed by alcohol, and somehow they were able to pull themselves out of that. But that's a rare person. I mean, it's something like 0 to 5% people survive, stage 4 alcohol. This is something we don't talk about. And it's important to explain to families, number one, that it is an impossible situation, and there's only so much you can do. You have to manage it, or you have to part ways with it. But you also want what's best, for the person who's, at this point, very mentally ill. And for family members, there are no easy decisions. There are no really correct decisions. There's no wrong decisions. I mean, you can only do and really put that person in the best element, in the best situation that you can. I put my wife into a rehabilitation facility. A lot of people would just abandon their loved one, and this is why we have a lot of mental illness on the streets. This is a higher level, and most people, may not relate to this particular video, but it is very poignant because this is something that needs to be discussed. And I think families should not be found out as being the fall person for someone's extreme mental illness and extreme alcohol use addiction. Understand that as a family member, it's not your fault, and it never was, and it never will be. But we have to be able to put the person in your family who is suffering from mental illness in the best position possible, and that's really all we can do. And again, I touch on this a little bit in her memoir, and her memoir is called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It's the story of my wife's 25 year decline with alcoholism, and ultimately, again, she passed away. It's almost 5 years ago now. I also go live Monday through Friday right on this channel, right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. And when you're ready to work with me one-on-one, I have the coaching program. The link is in the bio. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm looking for people who want to change their lives and the lives of their family. The call is free. The course is definitely not. And again, thanks for listening.